this is John from Fellowship of Games. I've got a little bit of a different video for you. Normally we review board games and talk about board games. I do a lot. Well, I love doing that, but also I have an additional hobby. I have this fascination with organizing and streamlining stuff. And so that's kind of morphed into another hobby I have where I 3D print things. I 3D print organizers for board games, for miniature games, just terrain stuff. And so for several of my board games, I'm pretty simple. I design kind of purely functional to like decorative stuff for board games. But mostly it's just it's just organizers or pre-built stuff other people done. I've downloaded a lot of stuff from Thingiverse. And so, but I've designed probably 4 or 5 holders for various things, a few organizer boxes, stuff like that. So I thought I would do a different video than just straight up board games. I'm going to show you how I design a board game organizer or component organizer in many ways. I'll show you a few examples first. Some that I did, others off the internet. I'm a basic modeler guy. I'm not super advanced. I know a few tricks here and there, but I don't know how to make the super decorative. I'll show those to you, or just ingenious ones. But I thought I'd show you through my process. It's maybe not the best process or the correct process, but it is how I handle mine and create mine and go from there. But I use magnets for some I use friction closing. And I'll show you examples of each, and we'll go through them, and then I'm going to design one for my board game Unfathomable. I really like that board game. I tend to do it for games I really like, or if I see a special need for something, and I really like Unfathomable. So and it's really simple. It's just cards. There's a little bit of box storage for a few tokens, but my goal is to design one for it, have all the cards in their own container so they don't get damaged in the box. I can remove the trench from the box and have things move around. I may have to figure out a few things I want to test. I want to try a few different lid methods, and I'll explain those to you here in just a little bit. But let me show you some examples of ones I'm thinking about doing, and then we will talk about how to design it, and I'll do screenshots of how to do this all in TinkerCAD and print it out. And I can't go into detail on the 3D printing part because that's a whole world in of itself. But I recommend the profile that I use that I downloaded off the internet. I've got an older printer. I'm really debating heavily about upgrading it to a newer one, but we'll see. But I'm going to start with what I have, and I'm going to show you my process and go from there. So let me show you some examples of some really designed, really interesting, and really cool looking ones that I've downloaded off there or I've designed or printed. We'll start from there. So let's give a real quick overview, then we'll start getting into the nitty gritty. Feel free to skip through parts. I'll try to do timetables, so this will be a longer video, but I'm going to go through the whole process and slicing it and creating it in TinkerCAD and all that. But let's just start with some examples so I can show you roughly kind of what I'm talking about. We'll show you some basic ones I've designed. All right, I've got the camera zoomed in. These are some, like this is one I've designed. It just uses, I call this a snap lid. You can zoom in and see it's got little grids so it kind of lines up. It's got, well, these magnets popped off. This is something you gotta watch out for. Magnets will come unglued every so often. But, like I'm missing one here. This one I used, this is just a snap-on lid. I go heavy on magnets for these because, there's nothing other than the magnet holding on. So that's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 magnets for this lid. So these can get a little bit much into there. Not too bad. But, just cost. But like this one doesn't use a magnet. It just slides. I like this lid. This is something what I'm going to kind of design this one on I've been thinking about. But this is designed for Arklum Lost Ruins Varnak. And this one's really nice. See, the lid doesn't stay shut, but he designed a whole box set. This is one I got off the internet. And you can, when it sits in the box, the lids hold it all shut so nothing slides out. Like this is one of the player characters. It's got a sliding lid. If you look, I hold it up. Whoops. Let me get it organized. See how the lid, it's got that little bit of lip to it. That allows for this one just to slide straight into there. This one he actually designed for painting because of like if you paint it like a wood color, then dry brush it, you can get it looking pretty interesting. So it's cool. Not the back's just smooth, but it's pretty cool. Looks like a crate. I like that. And this is also from Arnak. It's one you have to. It doesn't have enough pressure on it. It's a sliding loose, but it's designed just to hold this, and I put a rubber band around it in the case to keep it from kind of loose. But I like it, as you can see, because it's designed to look like a runs. Like a run, and this is where you set your some of your guardian tiles. You just lay it out on the board. I love this because it's storage and it's useful to play and it looks cool. This again was printed on my printer. This is the lid for it. Some of them, if you get your boxes, it's about a 1% difference. You put it. I don't have any handy, or I'd get one out, but the friction hold it shut. Like this one, it's pressure from the outside holding it shut. This one's magnets. This one there is none, but there's some. If you get it to the edge, you can get it when you slide out. If you do that, you need to put little grips so you can pull it out. But then there's like this one from our Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. Let me move these out of the way. This one is really, really cool. Super well designed. This is the box that it came in. The game. So that all your stuff at here, you had your tokens and your player characters, they would get smashed up in here really small, but this guy designed it a really cool one. As you can see, you've got a whale here with stars, and this will hold this part. But here's the cool thing about this one. If you look, he did rounded design, it's a flat bottom, but this twist, and it locks on. So then you can pick it up. You have all these tokens. To me, this is just pure genius, the way he fit it in. He shaped all his holes. He left room here so you can stick your finger in and dig them out. This one is a friction lid, like I was talking earlier. The way the lines line up, they get tight, so you can pull this off. It's just held on there with friction. He's got more of the little tokens, like these hold in place. The only drawback to this one that I have, and it's very, very minor, is you have to take the clips off these. I'll have to leave the clips on them so you can pull them off on the board. But this is just an ingenious design. You've got all your quick tokens here. He even organized them by this. And you've got your obstacles, your quests, your statuses, the little creature tokens. Then over here you've got your monsters, your items. I mean, it was really super well designed. And this fits on here, and it's got a little twist lock system. So you just twist it in there, and you connect it like so, and it just sits right in the hole in the box. Really, really genius. I love this design. This is beyond the scope of what I can do. Honestly, even these are beyond the scope of what I can do, because I'm not really good with pictures or designs or anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to design one for the cards. It'll be like this. I'm not going to do a snap lid because I'm trying to get better on my magnets. I'm going to, mine will be boxy. I'll get the measurements for these sides. But I have an idea I'm going to try. I like the slide lid because it keeps popping off. This lid could pop off. It's never done it, but I went overboard with the magnets. I did 4 and scared that. I've got an idea. I'm going to try. I have to make my lid a little bit thicker, and this side's smooth, but I think I'm going to try to get it so I slide it in, and the magnets, I put 1 or 2 over here, and 1 or 2 on the lid, and see if it snaps shut. That should work for these, and I think that will be a pretty good way of handling it. So I think we're good there. So now I'm going to start my process on designing one. So I will put all these things out of the way. I'll now cut back in just a minute, and we will go through and I'll show you my reasoning, my thought process, and how we can go from there and just see how well we can design one. And once I'm done, I'm going to publish these files, and you're free to use them, remix them, do whatever you want. I just thought it'd be, because I need one, I thought that'd be kind of interesting. Somebody may not know how to design one. So I will start with these, and we'll just go from there. In just a minute, we'll start my processes and go from there. Thank you. Hello, this is John from Fellowship of Games. I've got a little bit of a different video for you. Normally we review board games and talk about board games. I I do a lot. Well, I love doing that, but also I have an additional hobby. I have this fascination with organizing and streamlining stuff. And so that's kind of morphed into another hobby I have where I 3D print things. I 3D print organizers for board games, for miniature games, just terrain stuff. And so for several of my board games, I'm pretty simple. I design kind of purely functional to like decorative stuff for board games. But mostly it's just it's just organizers or pre-built stuff other people done. I've downloaded a lot of stuff from Thingiverse, and so but I've designed probably 4 or 5 holders for various things. A few organizer boxes, stuff like that. So I thought I would do a different video than just straight up board games. I'm going to show you how I design a board game organizer or component organizer in many ways. I'll show you a few examples first. Some that I did, others about the internet. I'm a basic modeler guy. I'm not super advanced. I know a few tricks here and there, but I don't know how to make the super decorative. I'll show those to you, or just ingenious ones. But I thought I'll show you through my process. It's maybe not the best process or the correct process, but it is how I handle mine and create mine and go from there. But I use magnets for some I use friction closing. And I'll show you examples of each, and we'll go through them, and then I'm going to design one for my board game Unfathomable. I really like that board game. I tend to do it for games I really like, or if I see a special need for something, and I really like Unfathomable. So and it's really simple. It's just cards. There's a little bit of box storage for a few tokens, but my goal is to design one for it, have all the cards in their own containers so they don't get damaged in the box. I can remove the trench from the box and have things move around. I may have to figure out a few things I want to test. I want to try a few different lid methods, and I'll explain those to you here in just a little bit. But let me show you some examples of ones I'm thinking about doing, and then we will talk about how to design it, and I'll do screenshots of how to do this all in TinkerCAD and print it out. And I can't go into detail on the 3D printing part, because that's a whole world in of itself. But I recommend the profile that I use, that I downloaded off the internet. I've got an older printer. I'm really debating heavily about upgrading it to a newer one, but we'll see. But I'm going to start with what I have, and I'm going to show you my process and go from there. So let me show you some examples of some really designed, really interesting, and really cool looking ones that I've downloaded up there, or I've designed and printed. We'll start from there. So let's give a real quick overview, then we'll start getting into the nitty gritty. Feel free to skip through parts. I'll try to do timetables, so this will be a longer video. But I'm going to go through the whole process and slicing it and creating it in TinkerCAD and all that. But let's just start with some examples so I can show you roughly kind of what I'm talking about. We'll show you some basic ones I've designed. All right. Let me set this down. All right. I've got the camera zoomed in. These are some, like this is one I've designed. It just uses, I call this a snap lid. You can zoom in, see it's got little grids so it kind of lines up. It's got, well, these magnets popped off. This is something you gotta watch out for. Magnets will come unglued every so often. But, like I'm missing one here. This one I used, this is just a snap-on lid. I go heavy on magnets for these because, there's nothing other than the magnet holding it on. So that's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 magnets for this lid. So these can get a little bit much into there. Not too bad. But, just cost. But like this one doesn't use a magnet. It just slides. I like this lid. This is something what I'm going to kind of design this one on I've been thinking about. But this is designed for Arklum Lost Ruins Varnak. And this one's really nice. See, the lid doesn't stay shut, but he designed a whole box set. This is one I got off the internet. And you can, when it sits in the box, the lids hold it all shut so nothing slides out. Like this is one of the player characters. It's got a sliding lid. If you look, I hold it up. Whoops. Let me get it organized. See how the lid, it's got that little bit of lip to it. That allows for this one just to slide straight into there. This one he actually designed for painting, because of like if you paint it like a wood color, then dry brush it, you can get it looking pretty interesting. So it's cool. Like the back's just smooth, but it's pretty cool. Looks like a crate. I like that. And this is also from Arnak. It's one you have to. It doesn't have enough pressure on it. It's a sliding loose, but it's designed just to hold this, and I put a rubber band around it in the case to keep it from coming loose. But I like it, as you can see, because it's designed to look like it runs, and this is where you set your some of your guardian tiles. You just lay it out on the board. I love this because it's storage and it's useful to play and it looks cool. This again was printed on my printer. And this is the lid for it. Some of them, if you get your boxes, it's about a 1% difference. You put it. I don't have any handy, or I'd get one out, but the friction hold it shut. Like this one, it's pressure from the outside holding it shut. This one's magnets. This one there is none, but there's some. If you get it to the edge, you can get it when you slide out. If you do that, you need to put little grips so you can pull it out. But then there's like this one from our Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. Let me move these out of the way. This one is really, really cool. Super well designed. This is the box that it came in. The game. So that all your stuff at here, you had your tokens and your player characters. They would get smashed up in here really small. But this guy designed it a really cool one. As you can see, you've got a well here with stars, and this will hold this part. But here's the cool thing about this one. If you look, he did rounded design. It's a flat bottom, but this twist, and it locks on. So then you can pick it up. You have all these tokens. To me, this is just pure genius, the way he fit it in. He shaped all his holes. He left room here so you can stick your finger in and dig them out. This one is a friction lid, like I was talking earlier. The way the lines line up, they get tight, so you can pull this off. It's just held on there with friction. He's got more of the little tokens, like these hold in place. The only drawback to this one that I have, and it's very, very minor, is you have to take the clips off these. I like to leave the clips on them so you can pull them off on the board. But this is just an ingenious design. You've got all your quick tokens here. He even organized them by this. You've got your obstacles, your quests, your statuses, the little creature tokens. Then over here you've got your monsters, your items. I mean, it was really super well designed. And this fits on here. And it's got a little twist lock system. So you just twist it in there. And you connect it like so. And it just sits right in that holding box. Really, really genius. I love this design. This is beyond the scope of what I can do. Honestly, even these are beyond the scope of what I can do, because I'm not really good with pictures or designs or anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to design one for the cards. It'll be like this. I'm not going to do a snap lid because I'm trying to get better on my magnets. I'm going to, mine will be boxy. I'll get the measurements for these sides. But I have an idea I'm going to try. I like the slide lid because it keeps popping off. This lid could pop off. It's never done it, but I went overboard with the magnets. I did 4 and scared that. I've got an idea. I'm going to try. I have to make my lid a little bit thicker, and this side's smooth. But I think I'm going to try to get it so I slide it in, and the magnets, I put 1 or 2 over here, and 1 or 2 on the lid, and see if it snaps shut. That should work for these. And I think that will be a pretty good way of handling it. So I think we're good there. So now I'm going to start my process on designing one. So I will put all these things out of the way. I'll now cut back in just a minute, and we will go through and I'll show you my reasoning, my thought process, and how we can go from there and just see how well we can design one. And once I'm done, I'm going to publish these files, and you're free to use them, remix them, do whatever you want. I just thought it'd be, because I need one, I thought that'd be kind of interesting. Somebody may not know how to design one. So I will start with these, and we will just go from there. And in just a minute, we'll start my processes and go from there. Hello, this is Future Me. I realized when I was doing my measurements, I really didn't give an overview of my process. And I thought that might be a good addition to this. So I'll tell you in the ballpark how I'm going to measure it. First, I've been thinking about ways of organizing the cards so I can print like one will have all the skills, waypoints, and all that based off size of the cards. Because if you have a large group and a small group, you're just going to waste plastic in the middle of it. So if I make 2 little containers, they should hold clothes and should work. But that's where I'm getting with this. But that's the next video. My overall process of how I'm going to do this. First, I sit down with the game. I think about how I'm going to organize it. Then I'm going to sit down and measure like the stacks of cards. You don't have to measure every card like I want this block, of the strengths, the will, whatever, because I know they're all the same amount of cards. So you just measure 1, measure 2 just to be safe. It's better to measure twice and average them together, because sometimes there's a little bit of variances, but at this scale, it won't matter. But it's always good to just do 2 to be safe. So I'm going to take two measurements and write those down of each the small stacks, the larger stacks. Then for mine I need to do 30 cards. So I'll do a quick measurement of 1 stack of 30, even though because I don't have those cards yet. Then I'll measure each component. Then once I have those all written down and documented, I go into TinkerCad. Now that'll probably be the most of this video of what we're doing, of how to arrange things and play with and little tips and tricks. I am no expert. I've hobbyist. I've got in it and played with it and gone from there. So there are people who know much more and are much better, quicker than me, and probably not as messy. But I do my best. So I'll get in there and I'll show you all the steps. Each deck has its own little block. Then you get your decks, you line them out, make a bunch of copies. I color code mine so I know what types of what, so I can organize them, because I've got an idea too I'm going to try. And then you lay them out in another big block and you just cut the holes out, and that's half your box. Then you have to design your lid and do anything special, and then print it out. It sounds simple and it's just a few steps, but there's a lot of little details in there that you have to do and have to think. There's math. It's not super difficult. It's just add, subtract, and remember, I always set my walls at like 2 millimeters or 0.2. When I get there, I test it out, so I can test it out and see roughly, where I can put magnets. Because where I'm going to put magnets, I need to be a little bit thicker. So you have to do some math to make sure your stuff's spaced out. It's not hard. If you can add, subtract, you got it. But you got to keep track of, this wall is 2 millimeters. I've got this hole. Then there's going to be another 2 millimeters. Then the next one. So you have to keep track of all your parts. Now I want to try a sliding lid. That's going to be interesting. I've never done a sliding lid, and I had the bright idea. I put 2 magnets on it, and that'll 1 to 2 or 4, depending on how they line up. And that should snap it shut and keep it closed, and I don't have to worry about them popping out, because you'll have a little bit of friction from your plastic rubbing and the magnets holding together. So that's pretty cool. And then you print it out, glue your magnets in, or friction, or however you want to do it if you need to do those. And then you've got your organizer. But again, that's the overall process. You get your measurements, create it in TinkerCad, export it out, then put it in your slicer, then print it. Again, I'll go over most of those. I'll give you a quick overview of the print of the slicer I'm using. I'm using Cura to slice it. I give you the basic settings that I've got. I'm no expert. I just use it. I use Fat Dragon Games profiles for their stuff, and it's been, when I started using theirs, my prints improved tremendously. But the biggest culprit's your temperature. But that's my overview, and I will get my measurements here in just a second. We'll go through that process, and then we'll do my CAD work, and we'll go from that. Thank you. Okay, I'm back now. This is the current state of the box. I've got my cards in little Ziploc baggies. These work. They're great, but the cards can get damaged. Realistically, probably not, unless you got something big and heavy flopping around. But my goal is to take out this Fantasy Workshop's trench. I've always disliked this box design. Even though it's cool, it kind of protects. It takes the larger miniatures and protects them. I can see that, and it keeps them from jumping around and bashing the rest of the game. But you've got all these tokens. It's just, I don't know. I just want to try to make it organized. So to start off, basically you need to get what all you need, at least one copy of everything that you're going to need. So I'll show you the tools I'm using for this part of it. Literally, all I really need is this caliper. This is one I got from Harbor Freight. It's Pittsburgh steel. It measures up to 6 inches, so it does most everything I need. I think this was $8 or $10 at the time I bought it. I've used it a lot. I mean, to me, it's a good tool. Works great. No, would it send a rocket to the moon? Probably not. But for measuring cards and games, you know, we should be fine there. And another thing you'll need is a list of your cards. This is one I printed out, and it's kind of roughly, I matched them by group size. Like, I know these reference cards and character cards, so I need to know their sizes and depths. Depth's the important part. Actually, they're all three dimensions are important. I want to make a little hole for the standees. I'm going to figure out to design it. Then I need a spot for the larger cards. I'm going to try to put these all into one, to group these in a one print box. I got to figure out the size for that, but I was going to do all the title cards, the human and rice, just do them all in one group, because they don't have to be super sorted because there's only a few Mythos, so this should work. But I'm also going to design it to hold the expansions as well. Like, this currently is just for the base box game. The character sheets will be different, but I will go ahead. I've got for the add-on, there's 30 spell cards and 30 waypoints, so there's 10 cards difference, which is enough to make a difference if you're stacking stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and measure some of these. I'll just give you an example of how we do them and write them down. I won't make you sit and watch them all, but I'll get them measured. I'll come back and I will show you the measurements, and then probably from that point, then we'll just go all digital. I'll do it on my computer on Thingiverse is what I use the most. I don't have any high-end modeling programs, but we're just going to start off with these. These all should be the same card size, but I will need depths. So I'll have probably this a little bit off camera, and at the end I'll come back and show you my measurements. Again, you'll need for each stack, you'll need width, length, and depth, or on how big they are. So it's a pretty simple process. Now you just write them down up here. Like, I'll start with I'll just go down in order. These are character cards. So I'll set these out of the way. Turn it on. Most thing I always check if you're in millimeters or inches scale. I'm going to do everything in millimeters because the metric system is much easier to work with, especially when doing designs in TinkerCad. Inches, I know my family uses them. They're all doing things. It's super awful. But like, I always have to figure out is what's bigger, in quarter, 3/16 of an inch, or 1/8, you know. But this was exact. So I've got this will be my height. So these are, I kind of do round. I round up if it's real close, but like, this is 101.4 millimeters. So I'll write these down exact. 101.4 by, this is 100.7 millimeters. I'll turn it around, maybe you can see it. 100.7. 100.7. And then the depth. These are 35.6. 0.6 millimeters. Those are the character cards. And also, when I'll show you my other process in a minute, but these should technically be the same. I'll just do a quick measurement, because if they are, then I'm not going to remeasure them all. I just need depths from that point on. Yeah, that's the same. And if you're a little off, it's fine, but just always round up enough where it doesn't matter. So the reference cards are 3.3. Oh, it looks like I wrote something down wrong. Okay, so these are 100.4 by 100.7 by 3.3 millimeters. Let's see what I did wrong here. And always check your stuff. You know what your dad always says: measure twice, cut once. Has never worked for me. I've always measured 4 times and cut 6 times. So it's a 3.6. Why I put a 5 in there, I don't know, but it's just 3.6. And this is a horrible eraser on this pen, but that's life. All right, we will look at these tokens. Now, the title cards, I've decided these are these 2 cards. They're the human cards. I'm not going to mess with those because I'm just going to keep them in with the hybrids because there's only 2 cards. Shouldn't make that much difference. And loyalty cards. I'll go ahead and measure these while I got them out. These should all be the standard height and width. So, and you can probably Google these and find the exact number as well. But I always just prefer to do it in case something's a little off. So 88.2. We'll just do these as loyalty cards. 88.2. Then 56.7. 6.7 depth. Now these are the ones I always really check. And on these, I don't actually press it tight because I want a little bit of wiggle room. So this is 5.8. 5.8. Wait, this one will be times 5.8 because these are the Mythos cards. They will be much more. So, but these should be 88.2 by 56.7 by 5.8. Now, we'll do the Mythos cards real quick. There should be 70 of these because that's that one. I wrote it on the wrong spot. And I'm just going to, I'll probably put these all into the same box. Once I get it in 3D and I measure it out, it should all be fine. But because that's where I can start really kind of playing with my ideas. Yeah, these are fine. Okay, for my depth on these. Uh, 26.2. 26.2. Now I know this is the one deck I may not do an additional part for the expansion because I just have to leave a little bit of extra room for here and for the skill cards and a few of these cards. So I'll probably, but those, that's another box. That'll be a big gap. I may separate two. I'll look at it. Well, that's where the online parts, you can play with it and go from there. Now, for the feet cards, what you could do for this is I'm just going to measure, because theoretically these all should be the same depth. But since I know like these feet cards, first always get your exact measurements on one stack. So I'll do these. So 63.2 by 40.4. Now depth. This is the important thing. I'll show you why here in just a second. So 3.5. 3.5. So theoretically, when I look at one of these spell, like the waypoints is 20, this should be 7 millimeters, or right there at it. .2. So very, very close. So 7.2. And just to average it out, I'm going to do one more because what I'm thinking is, like these item cards are 20 as well. Yep, 7.2. 7.2. So roughly now I know that if I just double the 10, which is what you think logically, to get it, it'd be 7. And there's a little extra because there always is just a minute amount of gap between these. So for the damage cards, it should be 3.5 should get it, because there are 9 of those. We'll just test that. Yeah. And again, I'm not worrying so much about these as I know they all should be the same. 3.1. So see, it's just a little bit less. Damage cards are 3.1. These match. Now skill cards. This is where there's 21 of each type currently. So I've got these. I'm getting my measurements. Skill cards. So let me do 1 stack of these. And just to be safe. And then, because I know the add-ons got 2 more cards, so that won't add any more space. Theoretically, no, I'll do, because I'm going to round up. I always leave a little bit more space than I need. 8.1 or 8. I'll do 8.3 because it moved up just a little bit. So that's 8.3 for this one. So we're going to be 21 of these. There's going to be 6 types of these. So I'm going to design a block in TinkerCad that's going to be this size, with a little bit more wiggle room. But just to be safe, if I just want to test how much it would be for a combined one, be 8.9. So I'm going to round that up just to do 9.0 millimeters combined, because I've got another list of stats over there for those. Make sure I get these back where they go. So that should work. That'll be 23 cards. So now that's really, I'm going to make a spot for these, the standees. Now these, since they're arched, I mean, if you're really awesome, you go scan these in or make an arch and fit just perfect. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to do my width. It is 31.1 by so when it is like 43.9, I'll just round those up to like 44.0. 44.0 by depth. Each one is 2 millimeters depth. That's pretty much exact, 2 millimeters. So what I'll have to do for those is, I know I have 10, so it'll be 20 millimeters depth. So I need to stack them up this way, either 10 or do 2 stacks of 10. Again, I'll play with that a little bit, and I'll leave some wiggle room because I know there's some expansions. Now for these tokens, probably what I'm going to do, just because I think it will look neat, is I'm going to make a box, but this uses up plastic, so I'm going to have to decide. I can have all the tokens. I'm going to measure these. I can have them in a box, and then have another box that's just an open container where I can set these in. So the box will be kind of, I could have these like flopping around in a box, which is probably what I could do, or I could put these two in a box like this by themselves, let them stack up. But I know I've got more trustees coming in here, and then just have these in a box where they can move around. I'll play with the ideas. I'll just go from there. But I will get my measurements from the passenger tokens. Measure 1. It is 31.3. 31.3 by 28.1. Now depth. Now for these, I'm going to stack these all together since I've already got them all here, and I don't have to. Oops, this one. That would throw your measurements off. These are. I'm going to round this up to 20 just because it's at 19.8. Well, actually, I'll do exact. I'll do exact because I play with it in the box. And just for purposes, if I'm thinking about it, I'll measure one. It's 2 millimeters depth by 1 piece. All right, the trader rings I'll leave in the box. So I have all these measurements. That's the bulk of what I need to do on this part of it. Now the rest will probably be done in TinkerCad. But I just printed these out so I could include these spaces. These are the combined ones. So I'll know for like it's going to have 18 character sheets. So I can double this number, 3.6. I'll double it and add just a little bit. And I can make it so it can hold all of those. And the reference sheets that get replaced, Mythos cards go up to 30. So I think I did a measurement for these cards. I did not. So let me just do that. So if I take a stack of these and toys, I do 10 more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is just to get an exact, because we know they'll be the same size. So I'll set these here. So if I do combine 30, they are 2.8 millimeters. Wait, I did my math wrong. No. See, that's what you get if you're slightly dyslexic. Okay, I got 6.8. Why have to? I don't know. Okay, 6.8 millimeters depth. So that would, see if I did my math. So if we take, 30, it'd be 7. This is where I get my math always gets wrong, because theoretically this should be 3 times the 10 feet cards. The 10 feet cards are 3.5, so you'd think 7 plus that'd be 9. These 30 don't match. So 6.7. And it could just be where they line, like 6.8, 6.9. So it'll be 7. That is, make sure I've got the right amount of cards. I've got, do I have 20 waypoints listed there? Okay, well I've got, that's wrote down wrong, that's wrong, because I have 10 waypoints, I believe. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 waypoints. Oh, these are the damage markers. Makes a difference. Make sure you're measuring the right stuff. Okay, yeah, here's the waypoints. So this should be 20. See if this makes my math look better. 20, I'll just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, it is 20. And these were the 10 stack, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Yes, 10. So this is 30. So this number is completely wrong. So here's my stack of 30. See if those numbers look right. 10.8. 10.8 depth. So if I take this, times it by, add these together, which would be 30, be 7, 8, 9, 10, 10.7. So that makes my numbers right. Always check your math. So 10.7 is 30 spaces. Then, so we got a measurement of a 10. So we know there's 3.5. So I should be able to do all these additional components. So I believe that's all I need to do for my math. And I got my Mythos cards, loyalty cards. So I should have everything, and the next time you'll see me, I'll be on my computer with TinkerCAD, and we will go from there. But that's just the first step, and I've sat for, probably an hour or so or driving to work, thinking what would be the best way to organize it to minimize waste and organize it so it's quick to play. So we will come up with a solution and we will get one printed out as soon as we're going. But again, thank you for joining me, and we will start the design process. Okay, the software I use to model a lot of my 3D stills is called TinkerCAD. It's a free software. It's actually like an intro to like CAD work and 3D design. It's by AutoCAD. It's pretty good software. It's free to use. These are some designs I'd made over time. Not these. These are ones I'd brought in, edited, and modified to print out on my own. But these are some older ones I've done. So we're going to start designing our new one. The easiest way to do it is to create new, then 3D design, and it'll load up to add. And this is your workplace. So it always gives it a weird name, like this one's Funtabulous Jot Walks. So I'm going to call this one Unfathomable Card Organizer. I'd kind of created a mess on it, so remember that. One of the big tricks when you start out is always put the ruler right here. The reason you do that is because I'll show you, and I'll throw this out there. You'll see distances. You'll use your math a lot to figure out where to put sides up and butt against one another and so forth. So that's really useful for this. Then you go down and change your snap grid to 0.1 millimeters. That would be the first two steps. Now these are holes, just quick familiarity. I think you can move you around and click mouse. You click an end and it'll move like moving direction. But if you hold shift while you do it, again that is shift, it'll scale equally. I think if you do control shift, no, it doesn't do anything different. But you can move around, scale it, or like in here, you can go in and type in your distances. Like if you want this 22, you just type them in. If you can see the numbers. Sometimes you have to wiggle things weird to view them. And say these are holes. So if you want to put an object, which is what we'll do when we do our cards, move this up. So you put it into here. Let me shrink it down. Then you combine them. This is the basis of all the designs. When you combine a hole with a hole with that, it puts a hole in it. So this is how we're going to do our magnets and stuff like that. Our spots for our magnets. But you can turn anything into a hole. Like you can turn this object into a hole. So therefore, because this will be for the lid. So we'll make this one. We'll turn it purple for now. We'll get it bigger. Like if these aren't things I will probably do, but just showing you. You can take this up, run it into here. Another really nice feature, if you click two objects, then you can do an align. I think it's that one. And you look at it, it'll align them up. So I'll align them both center, then align them up center this direction. That should put them directly there. But when I was talking about the hole, you can click this, turn it to a hole, then union these two. If you go and look, it's the mirror opposite. So it's like if you need to do pegs or things like that. It's got a lot of built-in shapes. Like I'll use this wedge here in a little while. But that's the pretty much the mechanics. Magnets. I think this is a new feature. No, cruise. I do not know what cruise does. That's a new thing for me. I'll have to look that up. I haven't used TinkerCAD in 6-7 months, so they may have done add-on types. These group unions are new, so they're always improving it. So you can change the colors of objects. I'll use that feature a lot. But alright, so now we're going to get started. First thing I do is I always create my decks. So let's create a deck. This will be like my blank for my deck. So below here, I make it red. My blanks be red. So my cards will be. So these are your spell cards. So it'll be 63.2 by 40.4. Your scale's a little, it kind of, once you get them built, it looks a little off. But and these spell cards are 0.72. Now I'm going to go ahead and make these for the 30 inches. They will be 10.8. Now that will work for there. So that's basically our standard deck size. The for the small cards, there'll be about 30 cards. Now this is exactly 30 cards. So I want to leave some room, or if you sleeve your cards, measure them while you're sleeved or increase it. So I like to increase, say, 64. Keep numbers around. So it went from 63 to 64 in length. Then say 41. Whoops, 41. Then for the depth, this is where I'll leave a little bit of leeway. So I will go 11.5. That should fit a standard deck. So now that's spell cards. So I'll rotate this up. You do that by clicking on the little arrows, because I think this 90 degrees, and then change my height. Whoops. Bring it back to my plane. You always kind of want to keep your plane level. So that should be a standard size of a deck. So by going through these, I should have these are 23. So to it, I might change that. Okay, these are spell cards. So we've got 3 sets of these. We'll hit Control C and Control V twice. That will space these out. So now that will be my spell deck, waypoint, and item cards, because there'll be 30 of those with the expansion. So, okay. Now, here's the trick. I want to bring me in, this will be the box. That will come in at a later point. On the snapping grid, point down. So I want my walls to be 4.5 millimeters thick. The reason I want that is I want room to place a magnet in the corner if I need it. 4.5. That gives me enough room to put a little diagonal. I'll go ahead and just make the magnet now. These are from some old measurements I've done, but they'll work just the same. They are 3.2 millimeters by 3.2 millimeters, and the actual 1.5 high, but I do mine as 1.6 because it gives a little bit of room for the glue, so it doesn't squeeze out quite as much. So if I copy that, and whoops, wrong button. So if I copy that, then I move, oops, copy, paste. Oops. Trick is clicking right in there. Like since this will be the corner of the box. If I want to do a lid, but I'm probably not going to do that. I think I'm going to try that sliding box like I was talking about earlier. That'll be a first time. All right. But so we got here. Now these walls I'm not super worried about. So I'll drag this down. This will be another thing you do if you want to line them up. You can click here. Like I know I want this one to always be in this spot. You can put a lock on it so it doesn't move. Now you can take this one and align this side, and it moves them straight. So like you can do the same with this one. Get these two here, align this way, and it moves it forward. And you should be able to just click in. If you hold shift, it will keep things from moving around. So here, this is 5.0, so this will need to be 2 away. So Yeah, I've got, just so you know, I've got a little calculator up on the other screen because I am not good with math in my head. Um, so it's got 11.5 plus 4.5, 16. So if I do this one at 16, it should be butted up against it. So I add, if I want my walls to be 2 millimeters, I add 2. So we'll go to 18. And then you do the same for here. Oops. Line. So this one. I just drag it. You can butt it up till it gets right there because you know that should be. Oops. So if I take this at 29, then I add, because if, or you can just take these, add these together. So that would be 18 plus 11.5 be 29. So this should be at 29.5. That'll be equal. So I'll add 2 to that. That'll take this to 31.5. So that would be my slots for my spell cards. And one thing you can do is, let me go ahead and unblock this. Let me copy it. Go here. So now, since I want these two to be together, I can go ahead and group those. That puts that as one object now. So they'll always be 2 millimeters apart and that size together. So now I want to do my boon cards, or my skill cards. Actually, I might swap the skill cards, but this will work for now. So put this at 2 millimeters away. So it'll be, add those together. Should be 38.5 plus 4.5, 43. So go to 43. So they're touching, and add 2, so it goes to 45. Alright. Now, these decks will be a little smaller. They will be 7 millimeters wide. So I want to bump that up to 8. Just so there's a little wiggle room. And there's going to be 6 of them. So go copy. So this is at 45 plus 8, 53. So change this one to 53. Add 2, 55. Now I can do, so I'm going to have 6 of these. So quick trick, I'll do another one. And I know there's some way you can actually put them out in an array, but I can't do that. Don't remember how. It's been a long time. 63, so 63 plus 2, 65. 65. Whoops, I had the wrong one selected. 65. So that's these. Now I can select these two and go ahead and do my math first. So I've got 45 plus 28, 73 plus 2. So these will be going 75. Since I have these all selected, I can copy and paste. Then go ahead and do 75. And that gets these. So these should be my spells, wayward points, item cards. Now go ahead and just change these colors to like blue. So those are my skill cards. That just helps me keep in mind. What I'm doing is I'm designing how I want my decks laid out. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that's my boon card, those. Now boon will be 23. So I'm going to, let me ungroup these. So that's my spells. Yes.
copy that. Go ahead and go and run that down here. I still have this one locked. No, I don't. Got that one locked. That way, because I'm basing all my movement off that one. Align. I mean, you can just type in the number. You could go here, go, oh, it's 45, 4.5. Go 4.5 here, and that will do the same thing. It's just a little easier. But now, so if I add these together, 95 plus 8 is 103. So take this 103, then take it to 105 to leave a 2mm wall. 105. That bumps it out. So this will be my boon cards. So it needs to be 7mm. That's the actual size, so I'll bump it up to 8. A millimeter is pretty good distance to leave. And a trick too is when you can always print out just a little bit that's like just like 2-3 millimeters tall from the bottom up, and just see if they fit in the slots. So you don't have to waste time printing the whole thing. So this is the boon. Boon's probably purple. Okay. Now, do the skills items, character feat cards 18. So I'm going to just leave some space. The next ones will be my character cards. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave space in these for expansions in case they do another ones. So let me do my math again. 105 plus 8 is 113. So copy this one, 113. Add 2, so it'll be 115. Now do this one as orange. So this will be, my boon cards are 7mm. Did I do this one 7? I did this as boon. Okay. So boon bumped to 8. So I'm going to go ahead and take this to 8. Whoops. I guess 7. Okay. So doing that will be boon, because there's 23 boons, 12 allies, and 18 character feats. So if I just take these, copy paste, I need 4 of these. So 115 plus 8, 23. I'm sure there's a much easier way of doing these, but this is what I've always done and it works for me. So that'll be my boon, ally, ship damage, and character feats. So let me get one more of these. Get my distances. It's 125 plus, whoops. I wonder if you can do math in here. I'm just going to try this because I don't know. So if I do 123 plus 5. Huh, you can. Cool. That could be interesting. So you can also hit Control Z to move them back where they were. So this is 125 plus 8. So if I do this is 125 plus 8. That gets exact. Interesting. Okay. So if I do, I wonder. I'm just playing now because I don't know. So if I go 125 plus 8 plus 2. Nope. 5 plus 8 plus 8. Nah, not going to work. I was just curious. I thought maybe you could do it like math. That'd be pretty interesting little deal. So I'll go back over here to my calculator. 125 plus 8. 133. 133 plus 2 will be 135. Okay. Alright, so just going back over again. This is my spell cards, waypoints, item cards. Those are 30 each, so they should be the same. Their measurements are 11.5. When I did mine, it was 10.8, so that'll give me some wiggle room in there. there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 skill cards because there's 6 types. I need to do one. Does that include the treachery deck? Oh, okay. So I measured those at 7, and so I'm putting at 8, so that'll give me some wiggle room there. So if we go over here, we got boon cards, ally cards. Those allies I see as green. The ship damage, I'll do those as black because those are bad. And ship damage, then character feats. Actually, I'll do these as green. I'll do these as it doesn't matter. I'll just brown. That'll work. So this should be all of the standard card types, and they're all ranged, and I know they're neatly arranged. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all. So of course, lock, unlock. So now they're all unlocked. I'm going to group them together. Okay, make a copy, paste that, and what this does is it just gives me a copy of them all, so I can just set them over here out of the way. So I wonder if I ununion these, their colors go back. It just gives me a block, so I know I'm good. That's my redo point. It's kind of like a save point in games. So then I come back down here. Now I know I want my new box to be. So bring in another box. First I'm going to scoot this up because I know I want the bottom of the box to be 2 millimeters. So if you look, that raises that up just about 2 millimeters. Then I come in with my new box, and I want it at 0, 0. Oops, wrong one. You always Control Z to undo. So that was meant to that. So I need to move this to 0. That should put it. Oops. Make sure. Oh, that's the scale. You got to pick your points too. All right, so there you go. 0, 0. All right, I put it there. So then I go over to this corner. Now note that the end is 38.5. So add 4.5. So be 38.5 plus 4.5. This will need to go to 143. 143. Whoops, wrong one. You gotta always make sure you have the right one selected. 143. So I did right there. So I need to go. Oh, I did my math wrong. So excuse me. So if I do 138.5 plus 4.5. Must be doing something wrong in my head, but I know that's ending up right there at the wall. You can tell how that's going. So if I add 4.5 to this, it should be 143. 143. Oops. I'm doing something wrong in my head. But so 143 plus 4.5 would be 147.5. So that gets me there. Now look at this side. I have to run over here. So this is, oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm doing my math from this corner, not from this corner. So that's 64. Okay, yeah. See, if I go 64.2 plus 4.3 plus 4.5, that should be the right amount for that. So that will take this to 73. That should be right. Yeah, that's what I was doing wrong. Now, I want these to set completely below the cards. So the way I want the cards to go completely flush, or actually be a little bit more, because I'm going to do this. So I'm going to take these. So now I've got this. Now I'm going to scale this up because I want the holes to go all the way to the top. So I can always click over here and get my measurements if I need them again. So I'm going to take this to, say, 50 because it doesn't matter. And if I take this to 41, this is exactly how high the other cards were. You can always copy one of these and move them down here. So basically, because I'm wanting my holes. I'm just thinking through. Alright, so that's, take this back to 41. Oh, because of 2. So this will need to go up more. Alright, so, excuse me because I'm having to think this through. So 50. So if I'm wanting a lid, you can always take another one, like one of these, copy, paste, to get a reference. Take one of these, lock that one, align this one, do it select these two, align, go, pick all the points, center point, it should be right in line with those. So if let me take this back to 41. Yeah, because it does it off that. So if I take this, align, whoops, make sure these are locked. Align, center point, center point. So that way I can see roughly where I'm at. So take these back. Increase this to like 60, doesn't matter, because these are going to be my holes. So if I want this one is 41 plus 3.7. 41 plus 3.75. So that'd be 4. So if I take this one to 44.75, that'll be flush with this. Now I'm going to do a lid on top. So if I'm going to follow my same pattern, it's got to be 4.5. So I need to add 4.5. So this will go up to 49, 9.25. That would give me room for a sliding lid, because that should be 4.5 difference. So actually, all right, so here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to make my holes in my box. Wait, whoops. Change these to a hole. Group these together. Now I've got my holes. So now I want to do my sliding lid. So next I need to create the lid, and I need to be, I don't know if I need to take that up another notch. It won't hurt, because I'm going to have my lid. It's going to be 4.5 thick. It will slide through there. Okay, so I'm just thinking, unhide. This is you can hide stuff like that too. If you get this, you can hide it. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to make a new lid. Now, I'm just thinking. Now, through some of this, I may fast forward as I'm kind of thinking and playing. I will, if I get something good, I'll stop through. But I'm just letting you know that I may skip through here because I'm trying to think it through, and it's a logic puzzle. So we'll get it taken care of. Either way. Okay. So what I'm thinking is I'll need this box to match this one's. So if I take it down here, the reason I move it down here is I can see the dimensions together. So this one is, whoops, move this here. So this needs to be 73. That'll be the exact width. 73. 0. Now this is going to be 4.5 tall. I know that. 4.5. And this width is 147.5. 147.5. Okay. So we'll lock that one. Move this up. So the top of this one is 49.25. 49.25. So that puts it on the top. So I want to loops. Just thinking this through. I've never done a sliding lid, so this one's interesting to me. Alright, so this should be 0. Straight line. So I need to go down. That's the top of that one. So minus 4.5. So 49 minus 4.5. So this should be at 44.75. Alright, so that would put the lids equal. Now, what I have to do here is I need to angle the sides. So now I've got these dimensions that should go over the cards. Well, let me look. These are, I think this needs to go a little bit taller. I think this needs to be, because if you look, this will clip the top of the deck. So if I take this up to, just do it to 51. Then take this up to it. So 51 minus 49.25. 49.25. 1.5. So take this to 51. Add 1.75 to 4.75. So this would go to 46.5. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. See? Now if you look, I've got a little bit of a gap right there. So what I'm going to do, just to keep track of this, because I'm going to have to strike. This needs to be a little bit narrower. Let me go ahead and lock this one. So if I need to take this, I will need to drop its width. Okay, so if I take this to, say if I take 2 millimeters off each side, so it'll be 4, so it'll be 73 minus 4. 69. 69. Okay, 69. Now, realign these to center. Now that should give a little bit so I can slide through there. Now, this spot is where it needs to be. So let me slide this out a little more. So I'll say 150. Okay, more than that, 170. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this one. Whoops. Copy, paste. Whoops. I don't know why it did that, but I'm going to delete this one. Now this is the one I'm going to put the angle on. So theoretically, I could take another box, bring it over to here. Let me just move this one out of the way because I can come back to that. Because I'm not worried about that. So if I take this, first thing I'll do is rotate this box, say, whoops, 45 degrees. That puts a little bit of a lip on it. Okay. Take this. Just bring it up, because theoretically, whoop, wrong way. Sometimes you gotta get your angles right on these, so bring this up to there. This will be just kind of eyeballing it, so take this to 19. Okay, 15. I'm moving the wrong. Oh, I'm moving the width. I need. Oh, it's way down there. Okay. 55. 56. 58. 58.5. Okay, if you look, that should be putting an edge. So let me go to 59 just to see. I think that will actually get it. So what I'll do is you leave that where it's at, then you just scale it. Whoops, wrong button. Scale it this direction. Nope. Don't hold shift. Nope. Okay, so 145. Just slide it down. You want it to be a little bigger, so like 150. $160. Okay. Now copy it. Move this to the other side. Whoops. Move this direction. Get the ballpark lined up. Minus 13. Basically, I want to get that bottom edge going. Minus 12. A little bit more. Minus 11. Say minus 11.5. Minus 12. See, I think 12. I think 12 will just get it. So now, as long as I'm bigger than that, convert these two to a whole, then join these three together. That gives me a sliding lid. So we're good there. So just to be safe, I'm going to copy this, move it out of the way. It's my saves point. So then this theoretically should go to 0. Now add 4.5 to that. 147.50 plus 4.5 should go to 152. 152. Now, let me turn this to another color, blue. Now that should put that all the way down to the end. Made another copy. Yes, I did make a copy. So now, change this to a whole. Group these. Oh, it's because I've got this one locked. Okay. Group. Whoop. Here's the, I went too far. So I need to move this back 4.5. Because again, I was working off this corner, not that one. So add plus 4.5. So it'll be 156.5. 6.5. Now we'll group them together. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Oh, I'm an idiot. Alright, what it is I am moving this. So that goes back to like whatever it was. It's fine, the number it is. This one needs to be 4.5. See, it just moved it there. So now I group these together. I've got my box. So theoretically, I could print this out. This should slide in there. So let me remove, because this one, if you go move its distance to 4.5, it should line up just perfect. I need to make it a little smaller now. It should be the same size as this. 147.5. 147.5. Well, I guess I'm forgetting the walls. So minus 147.5 minus 4.5 is 143. So this is 143. Yeah. Alright, see, that should line up just with the wall. So that should work. Now to put the magnets in these. So I've got my magnet. Probably one would get it. I'm going to go ahead and line it up for 2. Whoops. So rotate it to 90. Copy and paste. 45. Alright, so I want this to be at the top of that, so move this up to 51. Yeah, 51. That will be at the very lip of that. So what you can do is, for now, move this out to 180. Lock this one. Take, oops, that. Select this. You should be able to do a line. I think you can prick like this. I think there's a way to get it to the end. Let me think for a second. Actually, I want it centered, so that'll take it down. So if I take this down to 48, okay. Line. Okay, alright, that should be dead center. So, what you do is this where it gets kind of interesting, because let me what I'm going to do is I'm going to double the width of this. So it should be 1.6. So then 1.6 doubled, just to make sure, always double check your math, is 3.2. Now, let me slide this in halfway. So I want to move so that is at 180. So if I take this, go to 180, that is flush with it. So if I go 180 minus 1.6 is 178.4. Alright, so we're good there. Now, I'm going to put one on each side, enough to only glue one if I need to. So say copy this, copy, paste. Alright, so now I want to move it to the other side, so say 25 is where that's at. Okay, 20, 20. One of those should get it. So here's the fun part. So let me unlock this. So I've got these. This should be equal to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lid, copy it, make a hole in it, and then copy it, cut the first, put these together, group it, group. Now make another copy. Copy. Change this to this one to 4.5 distance away. 0.5. Now, change this to a hole. See how it lines up right there? I'm going to copy this. Alright, so that's got its hole. Then go back over here, ungroup these. Change these to a hole. Oops, back off. Hole. select this one, group. Now, that should work. Now, theoretically, I can print this out as is. But I want to try something different, just because to help me line up the cards and figure out what it is. I'm going to try to put a picture in them. I've never done this before, so this is new as well. I won't need this one. So I think I've messed up somewheres. I think I need to regroup these. I think when I did the copy and paste, something went wrong. There you go. So now I've got my hole. See, so theoretically, so I've got those little clips going down the side. I want to take those out. I didn't see that. So if I group these together, because it didn't have the holes in there. Oh, good thing I saw that, because if you look, those didn't go into it because it was counting the holes as the size. So I will take this. I need to remove 1.6 from that. So 4.5 minus 1.6 is 2.9. So it's 2.9. Yeah, see what that does? I had to take off the space for the two holes because that is considered part of the object. So now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see why I keep some of these old things like this, because that's my lid. Bring it back down here. Make this a hole as well. Okay, align these two. Align. Again, this is just the way I've learned myself, so may not be 100% accurate, but it works. Okay. So it's centered. And I think, so now I got this hole. Take it to 4.5. 4.5. What that will do is that will get rid of those little blips along the side when I did that one copy. So now, select all those together. Actually, I need to unselect this one, unprotect it. So just so I've got all those holes. Now group. There we go. That looks much better. No, it doesn't, because it took off those. So, tell it. Let's do this separate. Let's go ahead and move you out. Select these. Now group those. Alright, so now we're good there. I don't like that. So, here's what we do. Ooh, okay. Let me think for a minute. Because I did these boxes. So let's take that down to the height. Just a little bit above that. So this one is 51. So take this 51. Oops. 51. That is right there. Oh, because I got to remember take 2 off because I'm 2 millimeters off the ground. So it'll be 49. Yeah, that will be right level with the top of that. Now I want to go down. I know this width of the wall is 4.5. So I want to go down a little bit less than that. 4.9 minus 4.5. So this would go down to 44.5. 44.5. That should be equal to that. I'm going to go up just a hair. 55. Because that'll give me just enough up, but that I know I'm poking through the roof, but not, sticking up way into these. So now I'm going to do my group selection. Now group. That looks much better. All right. So explaining what I did, because I'm thinking out loud, I'm doing this, learning this as I'm doing it. I went ahead and raised the cards just a little bit above the main box, so that way it will make sure that I cut the holes out. But I didn't go up high enough to clip this. So this lid, when I get my magnets, theoretically should just slide right in like that and click and hold itself in place. Then I'll have all my stuff there. These line up good. I'm worrying about how tight this is going to be. I'm not going to lie. So one thing you can do, I might could shrink this down just a hair, like just to give myself a little bit more room. If I do that, I'll probably need to, yeah, because I take this. So if I go like 68.7. Then make it a little smaller that way. And then if I take it down 40, whoops, say 4, whoop, I don't know what's, you gotta make sure you're clicking on, okay, so 4.48. That looked bigger. Oh, so I need to go to 3.98. That should make it just a little bit smaller, but the magnet should line up. I think that will work. So, and again, there's no, these are auto saving things, so I mean you don't get to mess with it. But let me get these over here. But I like that box. This box should work as is. But what I want to do is just to help me organize things. I think it'd be cool if I could put a logo into them and just organize them. So let me make a copy of this and slide these out of the way, because I know that should work. But now I want to make like marks for the cards on the sides. So what I did is, this is another program. I took made SCV files of the icons from the game. So if I take these and choose a file, oops, let me find those. I had those saved over in another spot. Let me go up to here. Unfathomable. Here we go. I wonder if I can drag all these into there. Imported wheel. Takes a little bit to import them. I'll probably fast forward to these parts. You gotta figure out, oh, there it is. Okay, import boom. See, I took an image. You basically I took a screenshot of the of the tile of the rule book of the icons, and then I turned it to a black and white image, like see here. Then saved it. Then I used an online converter to convert it to a what do you call it? It's called a SVG file, and this can import SVG files. Lower. I thought it'd be really cool just to put icons on them and see if it. I have no idea if this will work, but or look good. Observation. Because there'll be a lot just playing and going. So if you want to stop here, you're more than welcome to. You know, of course, I can't help do anything, but this will just be kind of like icing on the cake. Need to spell. String. These may be too big or not be visible enough. I have no idea. So this is a try. Plus, I'll find out if I got enough text for everything. Port waypoint. That should be all of them. Treachery. Yeah, these two. So, all right. The depth on these do not matter for my purposes. I just need to make them smaller. They'll fit. So if I did my stuff right, spell cards should be first, so I can drag it down here. Now I know my spells are 11.5. So if I take this down, scale it down till it gets to about 11.5. That'd be fine. Because I know it's smaller. Rotate it this way, 90 degrees. Bring it up. Okay, so I know it's 0. So if I move this, if I only go in, say, 1 millimeter. No, that's its width, sorry. That's the hard part, is picking some of these like this. So I need to go to 0, put it flush. So if I go out 5, see how wide it is. Whoops, -5, wrong direction. It is 2.4, so if I make this 2, move it to a -1, that should put it 1 millimeter in. Then it's got to line it up through here. So 5. So copy. Now take this over to, I'm going to do one on each side, so it's 43. So if I move this to 44. No, oh, I did my math wrong in my head again. 73, so it'd be 74. So I was wrong. So that needs to go to 73. This is, that'd be flat on the wall, so I need to go to 72. Once you get your first numbers on up, you're good. Now I get the, so look at this one. So if I go to, that's the width. So if I do 5, this one I should go 5 and it should be fine too. Oops, selected the wrong one. 5. That'll line it up. Okay. So we'll just keep going that process. So I went spell cards, waypoint. Waypoint. Take this down to 11. So I'm just, whoops. If you look, I'm just watching this number right here. 10.5. Alright. But now I've got most of my numbers figured out for me. Like this needs to be at, let's take this down to 39. Let's see how far that. Just keep my numbers easy. So 39. I can remember 39. Actually, I can. I'll just have to type it in every time. Oops. So this one will go to 39. It needs to be 2 wide. What I could do, I think I could end up being more, well, it may not be. I could move these back down here, and that would put these at, oh, it would actually be 4.5. Then this at 4.5. Yep. That puts those. Now I can take these. Just temporarily, let me unselect those. I'm going to lock these. These will be my positional spots. So then I should be able to go select all, select this one, select this one, align. Alright, again, what I'm doing is I'm just duplicating this. I realize when I look that's a little bit bigger. Whoops, I accidentally duplicated that, I think. Whoops. Alright, okay, that's what I did there. Alright, so I had these locked. So let me lock that back. What I'm doing is I'm just aligning these. I'm probably going to quit talking because I'm just doing math in my head. So I need to take this to 41, correct? 42. 42. 42. 70. Why do I keep doing that? 72. At you see what I'm doing now. I'm just going to go ahead and line these all up as I go down through here. And I probably have to scale each one just a little bit because I'm looking at it. They're a little bit bigger than I meant. It's not that big a deal. 39. Then what I'm going to do is once I get these done, I will go convert them all into holes and then place them in there. So next will be item cards. I don't have the items icon. I'll just have to make one real quick. Photoshop. See if they've got it. Basically, I just open the rulebook as a PDF and look through there for items. And look, there's not a picture for items. That's why I didn't do one. Oops. Rules references. Let me just I'll check the other rulebook for them. Item cards, page 24. It's not listed there. Oh, it's rules 24.3. Okay, now I'm back. I will try to clip that out. I had to go grab another item card. Oops, as a SVG. It's importing. There we go. 90 degrees. Okay. $39. $39. So this goes to -1. Line. That should center. I'm curious what this will look like. It'll be worthwhile. I thought it'd be good to check out and see what it does. Okay. 31.2. 31.29. Take this to 72. That's pretty much on spot. Alright. So then I did these cards. Let me look on the board how they were lined out. I'll try to do them in that order on the board. Alright, so yeah, I had to look over here for a second. Move this to a separate window. Alright, so it will be friendship first. Yeah, this one didn't turn out too good. I may have to do these a little bit different. Because some of them are wider than longer. We rotate this 90 degrees. Take this up to 39. I know I'll have to do it again a little bit. May have to rotate this one 90 degrees that way. Take this to -1. Or is it 1? Yeah, -1. Align. I don't know. I may have to rotate that. Those are much narrower. But what I can do, so let me copy that. Then take this to 71, if I remember right. Nope, 73. 72. Alright, so the next one is lore. Rotate degrees, take up 39. Seems to be about 10, seems to be about the right number. So take this to -1. Align. Whoosh. Tell you what, I may take these down to, say, 30. Take that to 40. That way I can actually get them a little bit close together. Save 52. Line center. Don't have to worry about them bumping. So copy this number, 5288. Oops. Copy 52.88. Change this to 73. What I get? 72. I just got the sneaky suspicion these need to be. Their width is wrong. I know I'm not talking a lot, but probably gonna clip a lot of this out. Oops, wrong one. Okay. Lore. Observation. Okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of these real quick. Then I will turn them into a whole. $300. Let's get them out of the way. They should all line up the same. Yep, okay. So I'll turn these into a whole. Whole combine. Now this should be cut in a little bit. It shouldn't need enough to need supports or anything else. So whole combine. When it turns red like that, that means it's calculating. Since this is all kind of done on the cloud, that's why it takes a little bit. That looks like there may be a little hole in there. So let me undo that one. I'll take these holes. I want to scoot those over because those look like those went through just a little bit. I wonder if these did too. No. So I had my math a little bit wrong over here. So select these. Alright, now they're all. So if I bump out to 72.5, then group them. Yeah, nothing cut through. So that should work for there. Should keep the base cards lined up. These I didn't have icons for, so I can't do much with those. But that should work for my sorting. So now this one is ready to print. So what I will do, I will export the lid. This will be the skills lid. Export as a still file. Untitled skill lid. Skill lid. The next one will be the box. Export. Okay, skill box. OX. Okay. Alright, so that should be good for that one. Now I tend to like to do each organizer its own in case I need to go back and change things. I'm really curious how this sliding lid is going to work. Now I need to do the rest of the cards. I'm just going to create a standard box for those. I'm going to stop, and I'll start up another video here in just a moment, and we will go from there. Okay, now I'm about to design a new box. This will be for the larger Mythos cards, loyalty cards, and prelude cards. I'm going to I'll look and see how much because I probably will get the expansion of this. So I may design a one card for be a little bit different. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. So let me start with my base deck. So this will be the deck size. The loyalty cards are. Oops. Let me get my stuff set up. It's very important because this helps you with the math. Also make sure you're lined up on your axis. 0.1 snap. So this, the width will be, the cards are 88.2 by 56.7 by 26.2. So these are the Mythos cards. Those are exact. So I'm going to bump this up to 89. I want to take this up to 27 because I'd rather have a little bit more room than a little less. Then I'd take this up to 55.5. Alright, so that should roughly be the size of 70 Mythos cards. Now, I may store these on their side, so I will rotate it 90 degrees. Again, rotate it 90 degrees. So this card should fit in here. So take this to 4.5, then 4.5, then go up 2 millimeters. So I may split the Mythos deck. I just realized something on the other cards. Let me switch back to these. The skill organizer. I need to change that. That's large file. I just realized something I need to do. So switch back over to Untitled. Alright, that's cool. What I forgot to do is getting these cards out may be a little bit difficult. So what I'll do is I'll just, because if the cards come in, you got to fit your fingers in there to dig them out. I'll splice this onto the other video. But yeah, so you go back up to here. Now, basically what we're doing is we're just going to make a little thumb area. So basically get over here, go drop this down. We're making an oval. Align. Again, lock this. That just keeps one from moving. Align. That should get it centered. Now, this width is 173. So if I take this to 73, so if I take this to like 50, see what that looks like. Let's see, bring it into here. Essentially, all you're going to do is just going to make a little divot. It just looks better if it's like, I'm not worried about down here as much. But at the end, if you get in here, make this a hole. You kind of see where it dips down. Do about halfway. That. Unprotect this. Group again. Give it a second. There it goes. See? That gives it a little bit of a dip down. I smooth forgot about doing that. Glad I remembered. So now I'll need to re-export this. It's a still file. That would be the box. Alright. Then switch back over to this one. Glad I remembered that. Tinker this. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do, because basically the expansion adds another stack of 70. So I'm going to copy this, paste it. Oops, go back to 2. Calculate back up. 27 plus 4.5 is 31.5. 31.5. That puts right at the end. Add 2 to that, so it'll be 33.5. That gives 2mm wall. That will be the 2 packs of Mythos cards. Then there are 33.5 plus 27. So this is 60.05. Add 2. 62.5. Now these are 18 cards. Now there are 18 specific character Mythos cards. They're sorted out. So 18 cards should be. There's one's 18. We'll just bump that up to. They're 50. 18 is 56. 15 is 5.6. So if we take this to which is 20, so 7.2. I'll turn that green because they're the Mythos cards. Now we will have, copy another one. This will be 6.2 0.5 plus 7.2. What's that, an odd number? Oh, okay. Because it did a 0.2. Tell it, just make it easy. I'll take it to 0.5. 7.5. They give me room to play and make my math easier. So 7.5 bigger. So we got 62.5 plus 7.5, 70. 70 plus 2 be 72. Okay, that will be the loyalty and human cards. Okay. So Mythos deck 1, Mythos deck 2, character specific Mythos cards, preludes, which will be blue. Now I need loyalty cards. So I'm going to treat that the same. So we have 72 plus 7.5, 79.5. Whoops. 79.5. So add 2 would be 81. Okay. So Mythos, the character specific, the preludes, and loyalty cards. I'll make loyalty cards yellow. So that's how our deck will align. I think this will use the least plastic. So essentially we'll be following the same process like we did last time. Copy these. So you got a backup somewhere. Create. Go ahead and group these. Oh, yes, that's a click bundle. It's a little different. So instead of having a group like I did a while ago, that'd work. So if I change them to a whole, interesting, cool. All right. So now I'll start my new box here. 0, 0. Turn it blue. Turn it purple. All right. So these are 48.5 plus 4.5. This should get me right at the end. So this should be 89. Whoops. 89. So then add another 4.5 to that. 93.5. Okay. So add 9 to these. 48, 89 plus 9 should be 94, 98. Oops. Then I'll raise these up. Again, what I'm doing now is I'm just making sure these deck cards are 55 high. So I want 3 over, so give me room to fit in there. So that should be, no, I need 4.5 more. So if these are 55, so let me do math. 55 point, no, wait, 55 plus 4.5 is 59. So if I do 59.5, that will put me with a lid above it. So if I take this to 59, whoops. So if I take this to, so if I need to go just a little bit more above those, so if I go take this to 60.5, make these a whole. Group these together. That gives me a spot. Now, that should be in my box like we did ago. Sorry about that. Now I'm going to make my box again. So I'll get these dimensions typed up. So 98. Whoops, not that way. 98. This one is 93.5. Okay. Now that should, let me lock this in place. Align top. That puts them at the same level. Center. Okay. So if I take this to 4.5. Alright, 4.5. So the box had a lid. Line to the top. Right there. So I'm moving this over to 4.5. That's the line of the wall. So take that in half. So 4.5, half of that is 2.25. 2.25. That gets it centered. Then take this one. It is 98. So take this to, this would be minus 0.5, it should be 93.5. Yeah, that should get the lid right in there. So if I take this, just for testing, 0.5. That's right up against that wall. So slide this out. Then we'll do just like we did last time. And we'll make a box hole. So I'm using the control on the keyboard. You can hold control arrows to move one grid snap. So that's what I did there. Whoop, wrong button. You want this to be longer. So I'm holding control so it's just not one directional. So this is 93.5. I'll do this as 95. 95. There we go. That covers it that direction. I'm going to slide it down a little bit more. 96. This direction. So take this to a little less. 113. There, make sure I've got it centered. Take this to 100. It's always better to make sure it's covered. So copy this side. Alright, there we go. Both ends covered. Actually, let me make a copy of this. Move it over here. Group to make a hole. There you go. Now I got my lid plate. This is 4.5, 4.5. Move this out of the way. Okay. From the last time I took a box. I don't know what I just did there, but so if we go this one, it is 56. .5 to move it up to where it needs to be. 4.5 here. Theoretically, I should be able to make the same width as this. No, it'll be too big. But that'll just give me roughly where I need it to be. Actually, this needs to be drop this down about 4.5. And 3.41 and 3.41 minus 4.5, 88.91. Yeah, that should get that. So this width these, make this a hole. Group together. Make this a hole. Group this together. Group. I'm not doing something right. Okay, that should have got everything exported. So that box should be what I need. I've got the magnet holes set up and export. I'm not doing anything graphic wise on it. I don't think it needs it. And we will, next thing we'll do is the slicer and see how that goes. So we'll get that recording going here in just a minute. Okay, now I've got the slicer, the model exported. Now I'm going to bring it into my slicer so I can actually cut it up to print. So all I'll do is I'm going to start with the skill box, do the lid. And since I've got an older printer, I do it one at a time, just because it takes a little while. I'll slide this up here, and I'm more level towards the front of the bed. So basically, this shouldn't need any supports. So I slice it. This should be a pretty quick one right here. 3 hours and 4 minutes. So you can do a preview. You can look at the number of slices. This one, it shouldn't matter. The next one, check, make sure I don't have any trees or any odd supports like that. So I'll save it to disk. Oops. Make unfathomable. Call this one unfathomable skill lid. I always like to put the time in the front so I know how long it'll take. Hour, 3 hours. I'll say skill lid. Now, there's tons of settings inside the slicer that I really can't go into just because it would take, it's a series of videos in and of itself. But as long as these shouldn't need support or anything, so you should just be able to drag and drop them in a valuable skill box. This one probably will take a little while. Get it slicing. Oops. I'm really curious if it's going to throw in supports on the side. It shouldn't. They should be small enough. If need be, I'll turn them off because it shouldn't matter too much. I'm really curious how these sliding lids are going to work. This is the first time I've ever done those. So I'm very, very interested in see how that goes. Because you could have done a notch, but I was afraid that that would cause a generated support with generate some tree supports to support that edge. So that's why I went with the angle. I wonder how long this will take. 24 hours. Wow. That's a while. But let me see if it did any tree supports. I wasn't expecting it to take that long. Alright. Yeah, that 24 hours, that's a long time. It looks like it did do some tree supports. You can see them right there on the side. So let me take off support. Yes, you people. Okay, wow, it's been a while since I've had to turn off supports. There we go. Generate support. There you go. Let it slice it again. It'll take off a little bit of time, but it's still. I think what it is the width of the walls. It's adding the time. But I think I have to have that for my edges. So let me run a slicer again. see, I accidentally exported the magnet with it as well. That's not that big a deal. "21 hours. So let me save that to disk. HR 24, 21 hours. That's the skill box. Now I will do large lid. Hopefully this one will be quicker. This is HR 2.4 large lid. I do the box. Hopefully this one won't be that bad. "15 hours. This will probably be my first one to test off as a print. HR 15.3. I always do the minutes as just 0.3, so large box. Okay, the next thing is watching the printer run and seeing how it goes. I'll probably just take a cell phone picture of that. But that's the next step, is actually printing it out and seeing if it looks much like we want. Well, let me check, make sure there's no supports. Shouldn't be, because it should be turned off. Yep, looks like we'll be good. Okay, I will see you in a little bit and we will see how that goes. Thank you. Bye. This is the slicer file. That's the large box. This is my CR10 Mini. Got it started. It's running now. This is going to be a 15-hour print. It's doing ley lines. I switched out from a end of a filament to another. That's why there's two colors. But again, this is the CR10 Mini, and it's starting the print. And so we'll check it in several hours and see how it's going. Okay, it just came off the printer. Printer while's at work. So we'll pull off and print the lid, see how it looks. Starting printing the lid now. If you're wondering what all that stuff is, it's just glue stick. I have an old glass bed, and the glue stick helps it to adhere to the bed. But it's starting. I'll check back in 2 hours and 40 minutes. Well, it's still printing. It's probably got, it's going 17 hours 45 minutes. I think this is right at like exactly 20. It looks like they've got some pretty bad skipping on the sides.
The images didn't do too good, so I'll probably just remove those for the one I'll give out. But if this works, it'll still work. I'm curious why it's layering. I did it at a higher temperature. I don't know. But it's just something to figure out. We'll let it go from there. But that's where we're at right now. Okay, we've got our first print. This box turned out really well. So let's go for something more visible. It sized good. I forgot to put the depressions in it to pull things out, but you know, I can live with that. This one doesn't hold a ton, but it looks pretty good. It looks really good. Then after, but I did notice some like weird layer lines, but that's kind of, you know, that happens sometimes. But then I printed out this one. This one, you can just see the lines all in it, and I know. Then I also noticed right here, this was too weak, and it was real bad. I didn't center my lid. It should have been a bit more over. So this one, but it actually, I realized after a little bit testing my, like this lid for it, it's bendable. That shouldn't happen, and the top's really bad. It turns out I had a clogged nozzle. So what I did is I just kind of stopped it. You know, it's like, okay, I'm going to quit, and I went and had to replace my nozzles and all that. But as you can see, this one just turned out pretty bad shape. It's no strength to it at all. You know, it's kind of just, it's not going to work. But then I said, well, I want to go ahead and test it out. And this is what I should have done to begin with this one, because this one turned out good. You should always test as you go. Then and I didn't. So what happened was this: the cards do fit in there. They fit great. Well, they don't fit great, but it's exact size. I mean, there's like no wiggle room. So I think if you put all these in here, it would be hard to get them out. So I'm going to reprint these as a higher, make the deck size a little bit larger, and go from there. But again, they do fit, but it's just much tighter than I would like. I'd worry about the cards getting damaged over a while. So I'm just going to stop. I'm going to show you what I did, because we'll go ahead and started one. I was still trying to figure out my clogged issue while this was going on, and like these turned out super horrible. But what you should do, and listen to what I say, not what I do, is instead of printing out this whole thing, because this was about I think this one was 15 hours and the other one was right about 19 or 20. If you're testing size, there's no way you can test the height, but for width, like this where I increased it, I printed out this. Also, I was testing my nozzle clog, trying to figure out the source of my problem. But what I did is I just went ahead and scaled it all up. I redesigned it, and now if you look, I've got a fair amount of wiggle room in here. So what you can always do is design your box and then just cut it so you're just, 20 or 30 lines up. This took probably 2 hours to print. Started it, went and ate dinner and did my stuff. But this will give you a good estimate on your size. So that's what I should have done, is really just chopped it, then just double checked. But I got excited and took longer, so that didn't work. But yeah, this one was also bad because you can see the filament didn't fill in. Is really good. So I'm going to go change my nozzle out and start another print job. So we will get back on that in here in a little bit.
Okay, we saw through the video a while ago that when I looked at the physical printout, it worked, but I think my extruder is starting to strip gears or something. It's an old printer. I actually have a new one ordered. It won't be here for about a month or so. But it didn't quite go as I thought. Like one side, well, it looks okay. I mean, it looks alright for the sides, but the icons here didn't really turn out like I liked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove those. I'm not leaving there. I'm thinking about it, but I think I'm maybe put on top of the lid. See what happens. But the big thing is I didn't notice it until I printed out. Until I got here and I looked. You can see here and here is a big difference. So I didn't have my lid centered. So, I mean, it's not like a huge thing to fix, but it's not hard. The other one I forgot, like I said, I forgot to put in the little stripes, so I'll do that too. So I'm just going to start ungrouping all these. Essentially, you just ungroup it until, just keep ungrouping. I want to remove these for now. I'm going to think about these. But the version I'll put out will be the one that works. I'll get a correct print. I will, since I'm waiting so long to print mine, I'm going to go ahead and use the one that didn't work too well. I mean, it functions, but I'll use it until I get my new printer, and then I'll probably print me out a new one, because this one's a 19-hour print. Of course, my printer's older, quite a bit slower. This lid doesn't matter here. I'll go ahead and remove it. If I want to, I'll just move it out of the way. So there's my lid. So now, that's this lid here. That's to make the, whoops. That's to make the hole, which I'll probably redo that one anyways, just in case off size. But no, that should still work. But that's my lid. I'll go ahead and keep the lid because that'll work the same. Which one are those? Those are those holes. So undo here again. Hopefully there's the lid. This is the one we want to fix. So yeah, I didn't pay quite enough attention to those. So if I lock this one, oops, nope, don't do that one. Get it gyre. There you go. Lock that one. Now align this. I didn't have it aligned right. That's what it is. So this would center it. That should work. Actually, I probably should make a test fit of these cards. We'll do that. So let me go and look. So I've got a little bit more space here now. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell on these when you're in the digital world. Yeah, but that's good over. That looks better. It's not as off-centered. So then, take this up to 4.5. Yeah, that gives me right back here. So now I should be able to rejoin these. Oops. Group. Why can I not group those? Oh, because this one is locked. Now I can group. Group again. Alright. Now I'll take this one. Oop, lock this one again. Basically, I need to remake my holes. Align. Oops. Okay, that skidded it over. See how much that was. That was, yeah, 1.9. That's 1.31 to 2. So that's what that was. It's actually a pretty good little bump. Line. So that's 1.1 millimeters. Now that will realign my holes. Take this to, if I take this to 4.5, which is my wall width, it should be a little gap. Then take out 1.6 from there. Let me get my calculator up. I don't trust my head to do math. 4.5 minus 1.6 should be 2.9. I gotta unprotect that one. Actually, let's go ahead and get these all in one grouping. And also ungroup that one little magnet from it. I saw that one. Okay. So that's how that one got in there. So let me move you farther back so you're not in the picture. Unselect that one. Now it's just a box. Now I'm going to group that. There we go. Yeah, that should fix this one. But again, on my extrusion issues, I may try to print the lid because that's not much plastic. But I had an idea too. This is my lid, so I'm going to duplicate it. Let me get that. Where that one goes, it was roughly, this should be 4.5. That'd be the wall lid. I'm going to try this on the lid because I was thinking, I do like icons just to kind of remember where they are and plus tell what's what. So if I take these, so these, I copied these off the side and moved them up. I did this off camera while I was thinking. So I made another set. Rotate these. Oops. So I could take these. Just so I don't want them mixed up, I'm going to take it to 20. So I'll keep these separated. So if I group these as an object. Whoops, that didn't work. Just for purposes of here, I'm going to make these all solid for now. Group. Okay. I'm going to lock the lid. Now, got the lid. These. Doing a line. Center. That should be the center there. That takes me to the very end. Oops. I want to drop these down. Let me make these yellow so they can see better. Alright. Now, since what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of a depression into it. Not much. I'll change my snap back down to 0.1. Yeah. If you hold shift, it'll move your X and Y when you hit the keys. If you hold control and hit your directions, it'll move just a little bit. It'll move in the Z direction, or Z if you're in the so basically I'll zoom in because I don't want a deep depression because I don't actually have a lot of space in here. But that'll work. There you go. There's just a little bit in there. Now I'm going to move this way. That should still line them up. Pretty good so you can see the lid, and that'd be neat. So I'll do that. Make these a hole. Now I'll go back to my lid, unprotect it. So my object and my lid. Whoops. That one doesn't look selected. Well, I guess it is, but it's just the way the light bounced off it. Okay. Make this a hole. Whoops. Don't want to make that a hole. Let me undo that one. I want to union because these are holes, these are solid. That should just put a little bump in there, and that shouldn't affect strength or quality or anything else. It looks probably a layer line. Oh, one thing. Actually, that'll work. But that should slide in there. The magnet should hold it. I shrunk this down a little bit. If you look, because yeah, that's not actually aligned. Let me realign these just to make sure. Because on this one, what I did, and I'll make this so it's exactly like the other one because the other one came out just fine. This one I shrunk it here in TinkerCAD just a little bit, and the other one, like I said, the larger files box, they all came in and they were, and I shrunk it down in the slicer 1%, and it slid in perfect. I actually like it slide and feel a little bit better, but it could be just the extrusion part. But I will go ahead and make it so that you can just, this one should be fine. That gap may be because I did that. So let me lock this one. I'm going to realign these. Align. So that fixes that gap. Yeah, they're a little same. So it's just a little bit smaller. The angles are quite just a little different. So yeah, I'm going to fix that. So here's why I can tell my original size, because they should all be the same. Let me unlock move this out of the way. Go back to here. Undo group. It should get this slid. So that's my sizes. So I just basically compare these and bump it up because oops, there's the holes. So that is, yeah, 6'9". The height is 4.5. Alright, yeah. So those are good. Now take these all back. Alright, regroup these. Now this slid should fit straight into there. That was 4.5. It's a little bit longer than that. So yeah, I didn't need to do the long sides, just the width, because if you look, those are back to normal. See, I think it'll be better if I shrink them down in the slicer itself. So let me take these. So if this one is 147.50, subtract 4.5, should be 143. Oh, I had the big box selected. So let me go back to where I was. Okay, make sure I'm doing the right one. This to 4.5, 4.5. Lined up here. So this should be 4.3 or 143. Yep, there we go. lines up. Out of curiosity, I'm going to make this all just to look, make sure my holes still line up. That's a trick you can do. You can make something a hole. You can see through it. Yeah, they still line up. You can, because you can switch to your flat view. That way you can get in. It keeps your perspective. So they are a little off, but not enough I'm going to worry about it. Because the magnet should still hold that one. So we're good there. Change this back to solid. So let me get these exported. And I may reprint the lid because that lid's pretty bad. But my extruder's going out. It's the gear's worn, I think. But it's... I may try to restretch it. But I'll use this one I've got printed for now until I get the my new printer in. Yeah, that's looking good. So let me get these exported. Make sure I got the right thing. Okay, just the lid. Export. Still file. This is the skill box lid. Export is still. This is the skill box itself. Alright, so that's saved. Now let me switch back over to my Mythos card holder. Oops. And they're not having an issue. Go back to the root. Okay. I'm not sure what was happening there. Yeah, here's where I realized I had forgot to put the divots in here. So go ahead and start this. Rotate 90. What's that grid all off? There it goes. Weird. Okay. So rotate 90. Lock this. Align. Again, these, I'm just holding the control buttons so they're locking them, just moving one direction at a time. There you go. I gotta move right, click the right thing. Okay, that should be enough depression. just want a little bit of a dip, something you can grab in there. And this part is all just completely personal preference. Depends on what space you want. And again, this thing, you know, you can always try and experiment. If it fails, just print another one. Yeah, see, look, I've got more of a gap on this one. So let me unprotect this. Group. Whoosh. Now we got divots. Now this one looked fine for me. Well, actually, I'm going to change that because I've got that little bump. It may snag something. It could be fine, but why risk it? There we go. Now if you see that little lip, works better. There we go. Alright. Now I'm going to export this one. This was the unfaxable large box. Again, I'll provide these files. The other one should work fine if you print it now. I'm probably not going to reprint it for this video purposes because why waste plastic? I'm going to just kind of glue that one little strip down, see if that holds. But it should. But we'll go from there. Yeah, but my extruder was messing up and it was not in great shape. But it should still, even that one would still work. It was just pretty weak right there. And I'll get a new one printed out, and we'll get this. But again, I'll have these files posted out there for you. You can download and print this, and I'll give the TinkerCad link as well. You can copy, because TinkerCad you can actually copy somebody else's files, you know, if they have it set up, and you can tinker it yourself, and you're welcome to do what you want with it. Again, it was just something to organize it. But that's good to go, and hopefully here in just the next part of the video, we will work on just putting in the boxes and seeing how it goes. Thanks. Talk to you later.
In 12 hours, it's still going. Again, this is the second print out of the box because the first one just wasn't quite big enough. This one, the extruder problem's gone. You see the sides are smooth. So, doing pretty well. This is the new, the little bit larger skill box. You see I forgot and left tree supports turned on. But it'll work. It's real easy enough to get out. But it's just doing this little thing. This is 5 hours and 44 minutes into it. This will be a 20-hour print. I should hopefully have enough left, and I can do the lids. And we will be done from there. The skill box is done. The extrusion looks correct. I even went ahead and left the names in. They actually work pretty well. So I'm going to leave those alone, and I also put them on the lid. If you look, there's a little bit of string, but that's easily cleaned up. And that fuzz, I'll show you how to remove that pretty quick and easy. But it looks like it's pretty good, and I'll start the lids. This is the lid printing out. You can already see it starting to do the little files that I made for the images. That's how they turn out. It's done the lower layer of those, so hopefully it shouldn't be too much longer. And it's got to do the Mythos box lid, and it should be done. Okay, so this is my second print. I made it a little bit larger. It turned out much better, my test. I'll go ahead and show it to you, and I'll show you some odds and ends. But the lids, again, I was excited, and I forgot to depress that. But for these, it's not that big a deal because you can just hold your hand over it and get them out and not have to pull them out. But this is the lid. The shrinking it down 1% really worked. I didn't think about it, but it also shrunk it down this direction, this way. So, but it works. It's just got a little bit of a bump. I've tested putting in 2 magnets just for size, and they actually stuck. You can see them right here, but we'll go through that because I'm going to glue these in. These don't have it in yet. But I think I'm going to need 2 magnets just to be safe to hold it shut while it's in the box. But then this one came out. I did some changes to it as well. If you can see with the camera, I put in the icons up at the top of here and on the sides. Without all the extrusion errors, it came out looking pretty interesting. And just warn, I have this sheet of paper to protect our cover. If you're wondering why I have this white sheet of paper. But these actually came out pretty well. I mean, they're not super visible. Like this side I did better. They're a little bit deeper. I should have done that deeper over here, but it works. I'm not going to reprint it for that. But I did up top. So this has got 1 magnet in it. Because again, I was testing and they stuck. But that would probably hold it for most things, but I'm just going to do 2 just to be safe. And I'll show you how I get those. But I'm going to show you a trick. I saw this on one of the 3D studios. Like a lot of times you get these little, I call them fuzzies. You get the little fuzzy hairs, where like you see it on like this one pretty bad. There's like all these little strings. It's called stringing. But when it's just the little random fuzz, you know, and you spend a while picking it off, or I like to do it the fun way with fire. Just get you a little lighter and you just kind of trying to see if I can get that on camera. Just run up and down right there, and that just burns the fuzzies away. It's actually a really cool trick. It was fast. I've printed out some miniatures, and like you can see these on the side. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but when they just get heat, they just curl up. Of course, use adult supervision if you're not an adult, but us adults get to play with fire. So these are good. And again, on these, I shrunk the lids down by the percentage, by 1%. The files I'm going to share with you, they will be already sized down. I left it so you don't have to worry about the depth here, like that. See, it's got a little bump. They'll be out to flush with it. But this it's good works. And I will show you some of the tools. Like when I printed out, when I did my test fits, originally they were a little bit too small for my magnets. 1, because I shrunk it down, and 2, there's always a tolerances in shrinking. So what I do is I've got my magnets. And I'll show you this tool real quick. This is a little tool I made. All it is a sprue with 2 magnets. So this is essentially the same magnet. This is the north end, this is the south end. Whether that's correct, I do not know. This is the way I've always determined it. So what I can do to help align my magnets, I use this. Like the north end doesn't stick, so the south end sticks. So then I know my magnet, this was match the polarity. Whoops. You just take it. And you always test. Like that doesn't fit. It turned. This one works. So I know this magnet to match this polarity, I'll just have to take it and put it in this way. It's just a tool to help me keep the line, but just to keep the lines going in, I'm going to actually glue it. And you just need a tiny drop. Gotta get it. This bottle's about empty. Here it comes. Just put a little drop in there. And you'll end up getting glue on your fingers. It happens. But again, so I'll keep my polarities the same. That one works into it. So I'll take this. So I want this to go the same way. Take this. And I just use the whole stack. And I just slide the stack in there. Then slide it to the side, like that. That puts the magnet in there. Let me get those together. Then I squish it with my finger. This is where you glue your fingers together. But after a while you learn that it stays pretty good. There you go. This one's actually in there with pressure. So to test, make sure my line's good. So this one I want to do the magnet that same direction. So I'll take it, leave this there so I know where it's at. Put my drop of glue. I actually designed a stand for my glue so it'll stay down. I can store it upside down so it keeps the glue at the tip. Alright, that's in there. Again, this one you always test, because once you get it wrong, it's there. Oop, did I just pull that out? Yes, I did. That's why you should let the glue dry. So let me put this one back in, and I'll use the zip kicker here in just a minute on it. So we know that's the correct direction. So go back to here, slide this in, push it down. Sorry if I slid that off camera. But then I've got this stuff. It's a zip kicker. I bought this bottle, it's been like 15 years ago. But I use it quite a bit. I just use a just an old one of those cheap plastic kid brushes. You just touch it. It'll aerate through and that'll dry it pretty quick. I'll set that there. I want to move this because it is flammable, so be safe. So these are good. It just air dries. Then you should be able to just slide it in. Yeah, that holds really good. 2 magnets is great for that. You can probably get by with 1 if you weren't super worried about it. But yeah, that works good. Then test these. Since these 2 got stuck in there, if they pop out, I'll glue it back in. I'll glue them back in. But say what it is to test it, then I always just swap the ends of the magnets. So I know that's good. So I know these will go in this direction. Oh, I forgot to do what I was going to tell you a while ago. Let me get this one glued in. So you just need a little dab in there. So again, like I said, you just push it in like this. Instead of pulling it, you just slide it to the side. And that keeps it in there. And we know this one's going to be the same. But what I was going to tell you is if the holes are a little small due to shrinkage, like you did the like this one, I shrunk down 1%, so that makes these holes smaller because they're exactly the right size. Just get you a little bit, line it up so it's about the same size or just a little bit bigger than your magnets. Whoops. Then all you do is literally just turn in there. You can do this with your hand. You don't need any tools. You just turn it, and you'll see a little bit of filling come out. Just keep turning it like that. You just give it just a minute or 2, and you should be good. And then you can test fit. But always, as I found out recently, make sure make sure my directions are good. Yes. Always know your polarity when you glue it in, or do your test fit, because sometimes they will stick like this, which isn't a bad thing, but it'll eventually pop out at some point. Oops, a little bit of glue in there, and you just have to glue it back on at the time. But again, you just slide it in and slide off the magnet. Then you can always wipe with your finger. It'll glue pretty quick to your hand, but then this should still have plenty of zip, instant zip. Put that on there. Give it a second. Blow on it. Then it should just slide right in. And that works. So let me set this to the side and we will do our test fits. Let me grab all the Mythos cards because this one should hold those. Since this has zip kicker just instantly put on it, I'm not going to put in it yet. I want to wait. But designed again, this should hold both the decks. So here's all the Mythos cards. Whoops. Could have been a little bit wider, but I can slide over here if I need to. I think I need to leave a little bit more space. Again, that's why you do your little test prints. Oops. There you go. It should slide just shut. just like that. Again, I was excited and I forgot to put the little lever, so you have to dump these out. But that's not that big a deal. So they fit in there just right. This should hold both cards, and the extra Mythos cards will go over here. We'll test the skill cards real quick. Put the lid on this bottle because I don't want this to spill everywhere. So this will work for that. I'll slide these out. Grab the skill card. I'll just grab these. The waypoints, we'll do those. So if you look on the lid, first one will be our spells, because our wizard will keep those. With the spell of tomes. And again, these should hold the. Here's the waypoints. There's more waypoints. I need to slide those in there. When I was doing my testing, like these are the captain's decisions. They will just go down here. Waypoints. Tools, yeah. See, I'm left plenty of room in here, so this should hold these all quite well. Since this has zip kicker, I'm going to wait a little bit before I put them in here permanently. But we'll just test out the box to see how they go. These out of the way. So I should be able to take these. I'm going to design another box for these at some point, but these boxes should fit down into the trenches, like so. Then I'll take these and I'll place them in over here. Eventually, I'll just get rid of this trough. And they should hold up. I'm going to print another box to hold these so they're all protected. So those will fit there just for now. These will all still fit in here with the cards. So we're good in that respect. But, and that keeps things from moving around, but these aren't protected. So I'm going to design another box a little bit later, and I've got a little bit more time. Print out to hold all of these and the dice. And then I probably won't do one for the miniatures. I'll just leave them in a bag. They'll work. But this should keep it, pretty solid and keep the cards protected. And I'll get a protector for these quite soon. But they should be good, and we can go from there. But I'll do a quick outro and give you what I've learned, and we'll just go with that. But again, when I find a spot, I'll put these on Thingiverse or MakerWorld, and let you download them, and you can print to your heart's content, redesign them, remix them, do whatever you need to. But we'll just go from there. Thank you. Okay, so we've got them all printed out. The cards will fit in here, and that was just kind of my design process on how I design little cards. I should have made them a little bit bigger, even after my redesign to make them bigger. Before I release the files, I may increase the space just a little bit. For this one, the larger one's a little bit tight, so I think I need a little bit more width this way. I tried to add it to it, so it's kind of a guessing game, but after a while you kind of get a feel for it. I do it fairly often, but not enough to always remember my numbers. But again, this was probably a few dollars in materials, magnets for a few cents. I've bought them in the past, but I like the magnetic ones that close. I do like this dovetail list. That was actually a really interesting idea I had. Well, it's not my idea. I saw it on the internet, but I thought that would work. And you can sit here and fiddle with it like this too. But I like these boxes. They'll work. I'm going to design some for the larger character sheets, and then some for the just a little scatter box or a little box lid for the character tokens, so that way they don't get lost. The mistakes I made were my own. My head clogs, that happens. But just making it too small, too tight. I get excited and I overwork too quickly, and I should have done a little test size so I could make sure they fit for the width. And you can do width and length, but you can't do the vertical part without printing a whole one. Always leave yourself enough room. I have this my superpower is not measuring. I can measure 4 times, get the exact numbers, and they just don't fit. So I tend to overestimate stuff. So I give room. I should have done that more. I was trying to make it really exact because I wanted a nice video, but it's what happens. But again, that's my time. I'll put links to these files. I'm going to try to put them on Thingiverse or on Maker World. I've recently, actually, my printer should be tomorrow. I'm getting a Bamboo A1. My other one was, I found out it was 2018, so it's almost like 8 years old now. So it's old and it's worked. It's a great printer. It's a CR10 Mini, but I'm really curious to see how the new ones do. I may reprint these. I'm not sure. I don't want to just kind of waste filament to waste it. And if you do, you can always take your magnets out. You can just get wire pliers and just break the plastic and get them back out, because that's probably the expensive part of this whole thing is the magnets, and they're not really expensive, but it'll work for you. I'll put these on MakerMark or Maker World and Thingiverse when I publish the video, and you'll have links to it. So with TinkerCad, you can actually copy it in there and edit it how you like. It's just interesting, and I thought I was going to design one of these. I thought, well, I'll just make a video and show you how you do it. But this is the way I do it. It may not be the best way. I mean, there are some like that, ones for Betrayal that fit in a hole. That's beyond me, but that is really cool and really awesome. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like more stuff like this, just please comment and let us know, and we will go from there. But until then, we'll see you at the table playing games. Talk to you later.